have reached my breaking point of having to do this life thing alone. I just want to be held, nurtured, loved, cared for, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, in all aspects. I want my heart and soul to be seen and held. I just can't do it alone anymore, and I'm at my breaking point. I can do it physically alone. I've been doing it, but I don't want to. I don't deserve to, because I am worthy of companionship, of community, of love, of affection, of support, of someone lifting me up, motivating me, encouraging me. I am worthy of that, so I deserve to receive that. I don't want to do it alone anymore, and I've been crying all day because of it.
I respect your transparency and vulnerability here. But, you know, I definitely do have a question. What about all the guys that constantly approach you or constantly reach out to you that you potentially have in the friend zone? I know a lot of ladies like to act like they don't have options, or they don't have men that are constantly looking for them or checking for them or willing to take care of them, but the reality is they're just not her type. Look, I get it. We all want companionship. We all want to feel like we belong to someone to an extent, obviously not in a sense of ownership, but we all want to feel like, you know, we've got somebody in our corner. That I understand. The issue is this though, when you let your shallow qualifications impede on potentially finding a good partner, you end up alone. You end up with no one in your corner, no one checking for you, and thus you end up making a TikTok video. Ladies, I have a question for you. Why is it that you say you have no man or no one wants to be with you, yet if you were to go into your social media DMs like Instagram or Facebook or whatever the case may be, and perhaps we could even consider your real life and, you know, your job and things of that nature when you're going out, you say that you have no one checking for you? Is it because it's the men that you don't necessarily like, they don't tickle your fancy, you don't really find them attractive? Or do you genuinely feel as though no guy actually likes you? I'm pretty sure, and this is across the board, I'm sure all of us, both male and female, might have some secret admirers that we just don't know about. And if we do know about them, we probably haven't acted upon anything with them because we're just not that attracted to them. The reality is this. As humans, we are visual creatures, both male and female. That's kind of what gets us through the door. You know, no one, at least in my case, I never look at a pretty woman and go, oh, I wonder what her brain is like. No, if I find her attractive physically, I'm going to approach her. And if the conversation's good, I'd continue it. But in this case, we have become so inundated with social media standards that regardless of who approaches us, whether they have good intentions or bad, they're often negated simply because they don't meet our looks qualifications. I'm not saying date people that look like Shrek or Fiona. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is find someone who's willing to be genuine and take care of you like you want, and be okay with the fact that they might not be your physical type. That's just the reality of it.
I'm not single by choice. I don't want to be single, but I'm not desperate either. So I'd rather be single than pick the wrong person just so I can tell people I have someone.
Now, I kind of get her perspective. You know, she wants to stay single for the simple fact that she wants to make the right choice. But here's what I think both male and females are missing when it comes to the world of dating. Now, yes, I know the dating pool is an absolute cesspool. Trust me, I know. I'm going through it. I live in New York, goddammit. I know exactly what it's like. However, to say that you're waiting simply because you don't want to make the wrong choice is kind of misleading, because ultimately we never know exactly who we're involved with until we get into that relationship, or at the very least until we start dating them and asking the right questions. And more so than that, I think ultimately what we're all forgetting is that there is a little bit of risk when it comes to dating. Now again, if you don't want to date, you don't want to be a part of the social dating dynamics, that's your prerogative. You don't have to. You don't have to jump in there. You can stay single, and that's okay. Being single, there's nothing wrong with it. Enjoy your single life. Enjoy dating yourself and getting to know who you are as an individual. But the ultimate deciding factor is that you have to understand that there is some inherent risk that you have when it comes to dating. Yes, there's a chance that your heart's going to be broken if you decide to, jump into love blindly. Yes, there's a chance you might have to cut off male or female, whoever the case is, you might have to cut them off if they don't meet your qualifications, provided that they're actual qualifications and not just some superficial BS that you've inherited from looking at Instagram couples. And realize that at the end of the day, in some form or fashion, all relationships end. Which I think if we all led relationships in that way of thinking, we'd probably be a lot better off, because this, at least this is how I'm seeing it, how I'm thinking about it. You let me know in the comments, but unless you guys get together and live forever until you die, or you break up, or you get divorced, whatever the case is, fellas, don't get married, at least not until the marriage laws change. Everything ends. It all ends. Whether you guys stay together forever and you pass away, you break up, or if you get divorced, everything ends. It all comes to an end. So why not just enjoy the time that you have with each other and take that time to do some decent discovery? You know, a lot of guys are flying overseas to go find their women. More power to you, of course. But for the men that are still here dating what we have currently in the market, say what you want about it, I'm just the observer from the outside perspective. You have to understand that, you know, at some point this is going to end. So why not just enjoy it for what it is? Don't get too heavily invested. Don't throw your heart out the window, and don't jump out of the airplane that is rational thinking when it comes to relationships, especially when it comes to dating Western women.
Is it just me, or am I like in the point of my life where like I'm so uninterested in men, but I also want a man so bad? Like, I want a man so bad, but I'm so uninterested. Like, every man that comes my way, I don't respond, I don't flirt back, I just don't care. Like, I don't care to put forth the energy. Like, I don't. A nice man has came my way, and I still just been like, cool, because I'm good. But then I lay in my bed at night alone, and I want a man so bad. So, like, what's wrong with me?
I know exactly what's wrong with this chick. She's inundated with social media standards, and she's so caught up in the BS that she can't see that there's a guy that is genuinely willing to take care of her and treat her the way she wants. This is the one thing that I find the most perplexing about women. Women who make content like this talk about that they want a man, and yet when the opportunity arrives in front of them, they negate it. They neglect it, they reject it. Whatever word you want to use, they do it. That's what they do. And I honestly almost think the same thing for men. I mean, a lot of the time, sometimes us guys, we say we want somebody, but then, you know, we find the woman who's willing to treat us right and she's not that attractive, and we don't take it. Why? Because we want something to show off to the world. This is ultimately the problem with Western relationships, and it's my opinion, of course. Feel free to argue with me in the comments. Hey, I may not answer, but leave your thoughts below if you want. But this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're so caught up in the optics of it all. Like, oh, how does this look when I'm walking with them down the street? Or how does this look when I tell my friends about them? Or whatever the case may be. We're so focused on what other people think about our own relationships, we end up neglecting the people who could actually be good for us. It's the same thing with a lot of women who decide to date guys that are no good for them, but from a social perspective, it looks fantastic. The optics are great, but the man treats her like utter crap.
I'm so fucking tired of this shit. I want my own man. Why the fuck am I fucking with somebody that fuck with somebody else? Why the fuck when you tell me that? Why the fuck when you tell me that? I want my own man.
Speaking of, remember what I was saying in the last video? How some women tend to date guys that are absolutely terrible for them, but from the optics it looks great? I present you case A. And I mean, there's thousands of these examples you could find on TikTok, Instagram, whatever the case may be. But again, women tend to date the men who attract a lot of women, which I think is pretty hilarious. Like, I remember when I was in a relationship, and I used to be a former in-person personal trainer, so, you know, I had a lot of female clients. But it's funny because when I would run into clients that just so happened to be attracted to me, and I told them that I had a girlfriend, it's almost as if that was like a challenge for them. And I understand this is how some women operate, but when we talk about holistic and healthy relationships, this isn't conducive for either parties, right? But I always found that to be so interesting. Why is it that women want someone who they can't have, essentially because they're in a relationship, but they go after them and pursue them anyway? I think it's also the same for some men. Some men see women that are in great relationships, but still have the need to want to pursue this woman even though they're in something that's really good, wholesome, and healthy for them. I think at the end of the day, both men and women want something that we inherently can't have. And that's understandable. That's our character by nature. The difference here is that when we look for something that is wholesome or what is the word I'm looking for? When we look for something that is cohesive to our environment and ourselves as individuals, we tend to reject them. And again, I often find that this comes down to looks. I'm not exempt from this. I've done this myself. There's been plenty of times where I've been in the dating market alone and I did want some sort of companionship with a woman, but because the woman didn't fit my looks criteria, I rejected it. Now, as I get older, I learned that looks do matter, but it's not the main course of said dish, right? The looks, like I said before, are the entry into said opportunity to get to know this person, which, guys, side note, if you are overweight and you're looking to lose weight, do me a favor, or do yourself a favor rather, go to fitarfitness.com, take a look at the website. We've got a fitness app. Fitness app is great. You can download it, pick whatever workouts you want and get to it. Take a look, learn more about it. If you're interested in personal training, feel free to download the app, send me a message and I'll get you hooked up with that as well. The application is for iPhone and Android as well, so Android users, Apple users, whatever phone you got, click it, download it, try it out, let me know how it goes, and send me a message if you want further assistance. But going back to what I was saying before, your looks are important. I'm not going to negate that. I know looks are important. What I'm saying here is looks aren't the defining factor to a proper, wholesome, and healthy relationship. It's just not. And at the end of the day, the more we look for people that are just our looks match and not someone that we can connect with, be open with, be transparent with, do things with, grow with, etc., the longer we'll be in relationships that are not only not healthy for us, but put us in compromising positions, especially you women out here who want to date the Pookies and Ray Rays or the Tyrones, however you want to classify it, and only find out that you've been the side piece the entire time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time and engagement, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until next time.